Hey, are we live? Well, not live, but recording. But hey, guys, it's Chris again from Crystal Incorporated. Uh, Normally, I would have done this in a live, but I just decided to finally record an actual video just to go put it on my videos itself. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to it real quick. I'm going to do a short introduction, and then we'll get to it. Understanding that this is not at all some type of like psyop attack on Coffee Comics, and this is actually this is the only way that I've ever seen anybody do this. But this is the way that you react to criticism on the internet in a constructive manner, the same way that the criticism that I got was constructive. So, if you did not know, Coffee Comics, aka Muzi, reviewed Dream Match Revolution. I sent it to him in its fullness. I gave him all the pages, and I paid him for it. So it was a paid review, and I went into it knowing that he was going to come out of it with a lot of subjective critiques that you can or cannot take. It's fine if you don't. And I wanted to kind of do a live react. It's a 30-minute video. I'm not going to do 30 minutes of a react for this. I'll probably cut through, but there are some things that I do want to address that Coffee may not know or that people would like to have context of. And then there are things that I feel like necessarily should be a standard for all people going forward. And I just wanted to commend them for doing this. So before I go into it once again, thank you, Coffee Comics, for doing this. It was very, very well thought out, and there's a lot of good tips in there. This was a different format, a different form of what I normally do when I do things like jazz. So, side note, by the way, Ash is my artist. I'm the author in writing, but not the one who did the art form. Not to pass a buck, but I just want to get people. I want to get the people whose credit needs to be given. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and present the YouTube page. Hopefully, the volume is not too loud. So I can share screen. Ooh, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's right here. All right. So here's the video. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit, but let's go ahead and walk through the review. This review, paid review titled "Not Thick Enough." So he will go into detail here. So let's go ahead and check it out.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another paid review. This time we are reviewing Dream Match Revolution. Now, usually, sometimes I go through the entire chapter, but this time the author requested that I don't show the entire chapter in this review. The link to his Kickstarter for this comic or manga will be in the description box. Y'all can go ahead and support him there. So I'm going to call it a manga. This manga is a wrestling manga, and the story is basically about this girl, Faith Stone, pretty cool name. She dreams to wrestle her idol in this wrestling company called Diamond Heights. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple to follow, and I would say it's one of those. I would consider it a snack manga, and I think the author understands what type of product that they created here. They are not trying to create something serious. They're trying to create something that people can snack on and even come back to for a snack.
That's correct. I didn't have the notion of making a large opera or a large scale series with this. Every chapter is essentially going to be just good bites. It's not that I don't have the notion to make something of a larger scale. I kind of already do with jazz. and a little bit with Good Blood Money, and with like a lot of other stuff coming out next year. But Dream Match is supposed to be a much smaller scale thing. So when I heard that was good, because that's kind of what I was going for.
So it does have some replay value. It does have some reading value. If you want something rather simple and straightforward with cool art and bubbly characters, this is something that you can come back to. Now, I was disappointed that the chapter page number is rather low. Um, I wanted a bit more, because I will say that when it gets to the fight scene, where, spoiler alert, I guess, where the character gets fed up for throwing the fights. She gets fed up that, hey, why do I have to keep on losing my fights? I want a real fight. I want to show off what I can really do, because my dream is to fight my number one idol. It's why I joined this company. I was inspired by my favorite wrestler and so on. So I want to fight her. So she gets to meet her favorite wrestler, and she tells her that, look, you got to fight for what you want. If you want to fight me, then you're going to have to literally fight for it. It doesn't matter what the company says. Do what you came here to do. Go through the obstacles, win the fights, so you can get to me. And I found that rather cool, right? I found that rather cool. So when it got to the part where she is now determined to win the fight, it was insanely short and rather unbelievable, rather unrealistic, because the true potential of her fighting abilities are not clearly shown in this chapter at all. We don't actually know how many years she's been training.
Let me stop it right there. So that was one of that like this little bit right here was the reason why I even decided to do this as a as a video response. So when you get to the end, and I guess I'm gonna spoil a little bit of what he's talking about, but when you get to the end and you see that she's taken out her opposition, it is a showcase that she is capable of winning her matches. She is strong enough to do so. She's been taking dives from her wrestling company's general manager, because it's something that they're trying to protect investments. So she's used as a stepping stool for other people who are not as good as her. So when she finally shows that she's good, she has a effortless match against this person who is predominantly like weaker than her. The overall message that I wanted to have when I did that was to showcase like how much we have to nerf ourselves in the company of people who are not as good as we are, so to speak. So her winning that match that quick was to showcase that she could have, this whole time she could have done it. And this is not something that has not been done before in other media that happens to deal with, like, fighting or whatnot. So that's why I did it. You don't really need to get a just set of her abilities now. It's all about the fact that she didn't have to use any of them to win this match. Now, going forward, especially because you've seen the last page, going forward, it's not going to be like that at all, because the stakes are higher, and that's just kind of what I felt should have been focused on in this chapter. Once again, no hate, no reverse criticism, just things that I do want to answer for the stuff that I've seen. So keep playing.
We have zero backstory of her upbringing, how many hours she spent in the gym to achieve her strength, and so on. We have no idea the sacrifices she made in order to win the fight that she won, because her opponent seemed rather intimidating. And her opponent is this one that you see right here, actually.
Yeah, Gail looks really intimidating. And this was another message about how intimidation is not a like proverbial tool to winning things. You can look a certain way, but when it's time to go, it's about what you do. And this manga here was made exactly in that fashion to showcase that you will be in places where a lot of people will not utilize your full potential until you use your full potential. And so it's a message back to the people where you don't need to be laying down to wait your turn for something that is obtainable through a competitive spirit or a ranking system, whether it be in your life, whether it be in your job, your school, job, however. So that's kind of where I was going with that. But let's keep going.
So it seemed out of nowhere that suddenly you can just do that, but we didn't care. The problem is I couldn't care and I couldn't believe it. She doesn't look like a wimp. She doesn't look like a sissy. But the problem is there should have been more of a back and forth. Now, as you know, here on Coffee Comics, we judge by the mana standards and the mana ingredients. But today we're going to be looking at this example over here that I haven't pulled up ever since I created the whole mana thing in general. So first, let's go to the ingredients, though. So in terms of the ingredients, it's got 2 out of 4. It's familiar to me. When I look at this, it reminds me of some old school Nickelodeon cartoons, such as Totally Spies, thanks to the art style the female characters are drawn in. Is it relatable? I don't think so for the general public. For the general public, I don't think it's relatable thus far because we don't know the main character struggles at all. And what she desires is just to fight her idol. I mean, the general public doesn't really have such aspirations. Is it hopeful?
So hey, that was a stab at y'all. If you guys really want to like pay attention and look at it, he was talking to y'all. You guys, like you guys don't have aspirations for much in terms of what you do outside of enjoying your hobbies. I will say that this actually is 100% relatable if you look at it and you as I said earlier, if you look at it and you look at what I explained about the notion of the story. So to me, and from what I've seen from people in the space, it's a call to action. It's a call to fight. You know, it's simply that. So no, that's the one I don't agree with. But it is debatable. It's something that we could have a discussion about at some point. I wouldn't mind talking with you, Muzi, about this. This is something that I really did put a lot of focus on in terms of my overall message. So I would love to even go on like a live with you and talk about this at some point. But let's go and keep going. So next point was hopeful.
It definitely has undertones of something, a story that is rather hopeful, definitely. So I would say, yeah. Is it inspiring? Well, not yet. We'd have to see her overcome more challenges and experience more hardship and get back up and keep going until she gets her goal. So
This is another one that is kind of 50-50 because I do agree if it depends on what you would call inspiring. If you want to see somebody's hard, if no, well, let me go ahead and go back. If somebody's hardship to you, if something inspiring to you is somebody who has to overcome a lot to get to where they are, then sure, then yes. If something that's inspiring to you is somebody who begins the pathway to that, that's also inspiring. There are two rights here. You can either go over something or get ready to go over something. The very first chapter of Dream Match, as you can see, she starts off losing, and then I already spoiled it earlier, but she does get a dub. But with the dub comes the consequences, and the consequences is what the story is all about. Is how many times, how many times are you willing to put a bullseye on your back to get what you want, essentially. Um, so yeah, no, I would say that this hits all four, but it's as again, this is very subjective, and in no means am I to take Muzi at 100% face value on what's going on. But I do respect his opinions enough to have this conversation and to have him do this. So once again, as I have to keep stating, because you guys don't understand rhetoric, this is in no way this guy is wacky. Let me tell you how to go do his thing. So
2 out of 4 in the ingredients, and I had said that 4 out of 4 great product, 3 out of 4 good product, 2 out of 4 still pretty good, 1 out of 4 got potential. So it's got 2 out of 4. Also, sometimes we tend to look at passable over here, how to achieve it. I will say the author definitely used a lot of passable techniques here. He and remember, passable is the.
I want to just remind you guys one more time. I'm the writer of this. My artist is Ash Kohari of SK6. So just kind of want to make sure that credit is given to the right people. And I, as a dear friend of mine and a great artist, I feel like some of the critique going forward would definitely help us change, help us grow, help us look more malleable in the space, and it would help to make sure that we don't fit in with a lot of the complaints that I have with indie manga itself. So this part coming up, don't take it so negative, and don't take it negative for me. Just know that I find heed in what's going on.
Simplification of professional standards, not the sacrifice of professional standards. He's definitely got the contrast on lock. He's got the composition on lock sometimes. Facial expressions are clear, but I would not say they are very vivid or extremely convincing. I will say they get the message across, but there's just they don't feel alive. I should say that, it just doesn't hit home enough, the facial expressions. So, but that's just me. In terms of panel flow, I have a problem with the panel flow. Now it flows fine, but the problem is everything feels completely boxed in. Like everything, most of the things are condemned within the panels. It's only in this one instance here where there's a bit of overlap that we see the main character's hairs overlapping with the upper panel over there. I wish there was more of this, especially when we're introduced to her idol. The introduction was so stale. I didn't even know that this is her idol. This is the character that she's been wanting to fight. It was very underwhelming and so very disappointing. I was expecting a splash page, right? So the panel flow is rather disappointing because important moments don't feel important.
That's a very good technique. That's a very good one. That's something that I will be putting into notes, so to speak. I like the idea of splash pages, and that's kind of why you got a really good semi splash page in the very last page, because that was the more important part of this series. I mean, of the story was the very last page. We're gonna do our best to not say what it is, but that of course to me is the more important part. If you are paying attention to the reasoning for the splash pages, and that being the part that would like convey important moments, then that of course, I mean, like, we have them now. Should we have used them for Luna? Yeah. I feel like we should have, and he'll show the page here in a minute. But I also feel like splash pages can be like a dime a dozen, and a lot of the times it's used just to knock out like a half page, so that you're not doing like another panel, which is of course it's fine. So I mean that's not, it's not neither here or there. It is something that should be looked at, and that's something that I plan to do more of going forward. But it was more of like a artistic style that we went with, which once again he'll show here in a minute.
They don't, right? When important statements are mentioned, they don't feel or look important at all, right? So we're going to go through the first 4 pages here. So this is page 1 and 2. So it starts off with an establishing shot inside the wrestling match, inside the wrestling ring or facility. I have a bit of a problem with that. Now, usually I like to start establishing shots based on where is this wrestling match taking place? What city? Is it in the real world, alien world? Give us a proper establishing shot of it's in the city, right? Which city? What landmark is there to indicate that, oh, this is in Chicago. Oh, this is in Washington. Oh, this is in China. Give us a landmark for us to immerse ourselves in, to understand that, okay, we are in this country, or okay, we are in an alien planet with sci-fi elements. We're not given that here at all. We're just immediately thrown in the ring,
which was done on purpose. I remember back when we first wrote this, I was trying to think about how much of the outside world should be involved, should be included in a wrestling comic. And I realized that the target of people who want to read wrestling comics tend to care about what's happening inside the ring, what's happening within the sport. And so I made this as a love letter to pro wrestling. Pro wrestling, I know that they have the like outside shots of the like arenas that they are at. I get that. But all of the action and the focus, unless there's like an outside match going on or something, a lot of the focus is inside the arena. So I wanted to like this was me carbon copying what is always shown on television. Should an outside shot still be done? Of course. Does the location truly matter? Not really. Matter of fact, I've given you the pages for Dream Match, but I haven't given you the entire print book format. And there is there's another page or so of like story forward that kind of paints the narrative of where they're at. You've never read Jazz, and you don't know. I mean, like Jazz kind of gives you the outside view. This manga is in the same universe as Jazz is. They're on the same planet, and there will be a lot of that like going back and forth. So that's just what I'm trying to do here. Now, like I said, I don't mind a outside shot. I don't think much focus should be put in, especially here. Especially in this format where, if you're not familiar, pro wrestling has a thing called kayfabe, where everybody is in on the act of what's going on, and so this is a sports. This is pro wrestling where it's like 100% kayfabe. Like there is no cameras off. We're no longer actors. Now we go back and go do our thing. This is like 100% on. Like if I see you at the store and we're like contenders, I might roll up on you and cuss you out and then get to a match right there. Like it's something like that. But like I said, there is things that could be taken from that. And that's just kind of like a thing that I put on the notes, but I don't feel like it was truly needed. But anyway.
Sometimes you can break such rules where you just get into the nitty-gritty of the action. But in this case, it doesn't really work because throughout the chapter, we are still confined within Diamond Heights Stadium, right? It's one big, massive dome, and I'm assuming that it is. I'm thinking of the WWE dome, and how everything takes place indoors, right? So it feels rather claustrophobic. So it starts off with establishing shot of the ring, and we see the character getting pinned down, and she says, "This sucks. Why do I have to keep losing?" Then we see these two random characters here, and I know who this is. You know who you are. All right, let's face it, Chris. You put yourself up in here, bro, and that's okay for those who don't know. But since I know, I'm like, man, what you doing in here? What significance are you playing here, Chris? Ain't no significance you playing up in here, right? Because when you see characters like this, perhaps he's going to play a role later on, and this is just chapter 1. But that's why I said chapter 1 feels so short, right? Extremely short. So we see Chris and this guy, and he says, "And the rookie suffers another defeat." Are they the commentators? I don't know, because the speech bubble is not written like they are commentating. I don't see a microphone, so I don't know who they are, but they seem to be of some importance, but we don't know why.
Come on, y'all. come on, Muzi. No, man. Like we are commentators. Like every pro wrestling venue, every pro wrestling company has to have commentators. We're commentators. We are microphone adjacent. Like if you really got to go through and be like, where's the equipment? Where's the? Come on, man. We don't. Yeah. Because we serve as commentators, not for the people that are in the manga. Like we're like the audiences, we're not serving for them. We're serving as commentators for the readers. So there is no need to have the microphones. There's no need to have that. We're serving as in meta, out of meta commentators for the readers and for the story. And I felt like that had to be addressed. It wasn't random. It was planned. It was planned. And the one next to me is actually my artist. So that's Ash as Jaded Tiger, and my name is Green Bean Johnson, which is a mixture between Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Mean Gene Oakland. So Green Bean Johnson is my name. It's just silly. If you've ever read any of my stories, I always put myself and the artist in some fashion into the story, just because I feel like that like personal touch needs to be done. It's what Stan Lee did in like the MCU. Like I wanna make it like, if anything, I want to make that to be a standard in like American manga or mana. I want it to be like, hey, you should put yourself in there, because if you validate your story that much, then you should put a face to it. But that's just me, and that's just how I operate. So you always know the story that you get when you see me in there in some fashion, whether it be serious or not. But anyway,
Jaded Tiger, when's the last time you've seen an outstanding losing streak? Fate Stone, newbie of Diamond Heights Pro Wrestling. And then they start fighting in the background. Pay attention, JT. That was just now. And we see her walking away in shame. And we see a fan saying, "Hey, your time is coming, I'm sure of it." And she says, "I hope so. I can't keep this up anymore, Blue." I guess it's a friend. And then we get to this part here where she's going to be arguing with the general manager about, "Hey, I'm sick of just throwing the fights." The general manager was upset that she didn't throw the fight convincingly. It looked like she just gave up, and that's bad for the ratings and so on. But she pretty much, stands her ground, and she's told that, "Hey, you're going to have to fight."
Muzi doesn't bring it up in this section, but earlier he was talking about like having more out of panel characters, and as you can see here, it's done twice. Just it's not like a hey this guy's but it's something where it's like no it's right there. He may have like glanced over it. It's fine, but yeah.
Gail, right, and give her a win, and she says, "Well, that's not fair." And as she's about to spit her mind some more, we are then introduced to her idol. See what I mean? This is her beloved idol. This is the woman that she has always wanted to wrestle. But look at the introduction. Very underwhelming, very disappointing. There was supposed to be all kinds of splash page action.
And again, I said it earlier. I agree with that. I agree, and so going forward, we may include more splash pages, but I do believe that they're not necessary. A lot of the time, and I mean, like I love them, and I love when we do them. I do believe it's just they're just not necessary. But I do want to see more of them. So yeah, so that was not bad.
Right? All kinds. And I would say this is the first time that we see a medium shot of the characters, because since page 1, right, it's been mostly close-up shots. It's mostly been close-up, close-up, close-up. I would consider this somewhat of a close-up as well. This is an extreme close-up, medium close-up, I suppose, right? Close-up, 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 close-up. Being
Why did he bypass Blueprint over here, not being closed up? She's far away. Look how far away she is. But anyway,
bombarded by close-ups, close-up, close-up. Not really so much there, but the sense of scale is lost in this entire chapter. There isn't enough scale because there aren't any long shots. The only long shots we get is the establishing shot here, but throughout the entirety of the chapter, it's mostly medium close-up, medium close-up, medium close-up. And this creates a repetitiveness for my eyes to enjoy what I'm visually consuming. And this is why I brought up the mana dish, right? The mana dishes. Now, I had said that mana using passable, see the notes over here, using passable as well, you need to consider how you dish up everything. Oh, darn. You need to consider how you dish up everything. So I would say with this manga, we have the problem that it looks like dish 1, just without the beef. So picture this dish. It's limited in how much elements, how much food is on the dish. It's not a gourmet, right? You use passable, but the problem is he took away the beef and the sauce, and he just duplicated the cauliflower and the maca powder 3 times over. So there's nothing else to chew on.
This analogy is cool. It's fine, but I will say that if you are going to rate this per chapter and not as like a multiple course, then Well, I mean, this was of course this was a chapter review. So yeah, rated as a chapter review. I would rate it more, instead of it being a dish, I would rate it more as an appetizer. An appetizer going forward, going forward, going forward until it's time to get to the gourmet. But I also think it has more meat. I think it has some meat on there. There's a little beef going on right there. But I don't know. This is probably the only part of this video where I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I respect what you're saying. I see what you're saying, and it's not like I'm not picking up on it. But I will say, like, given what you're seeing and given the whole spirit, which we'll go more into it in a minute. But given the whole thing of, and you're looking at it right here on this page, where she's talking to her general manager, which is Lucille Graves, and she's complaining about, hey, I did what you asked, and she's telling her, I didn't ask, and you did poorly, and you were instructed to lose, and now if you read the page, you realize that losing, in being told to lose something doesn't mean you just give it up. It doesn't look good. It needs to be constructed in a way where you are participating in your loss, which is worse than just sitting down and letting somebody walk over you. You have to actually look like you're in pain while you do it. You have to accept the loss. She's trying to break her down in this page, and she's trying to tell her what time it is, right here. And I feel like all of that is right. It's right here. I feel like all of that gives so much more pretense to the grander, version of the story that should be analyzed more than just, I'm not able to see what she did before she got here, therefore I don't care. Over time, you're going to see what she did to get there. But it's not like, I don't want to give it to you all at one time. And I'm pretty sure that's probably not what Muzi was trying to say here. But it's just a fact of, like, first chapter, I was just trying to give the whole pretense of the overall story. We will start to dissect it, especially in the next chapter, where we get to look at the there's a power system. This is a shonen. There is a power system coming in place that I feel like a lot of people are going to like. But we just want to kind of get the whole gist before we get there. But yeah, let's go and keep going.
It's just cauliflower and maca powder, and that's all on the dish. You got to be able to give people something to chew on visually. You got to be playing with the camera angles, long shot, medium shot, and so on. Especially when there's interpersonal dialogue, you don't need so many close-up shots. There's too many. There's times where at least the author tries to show other things aside from them talking all the time. But I can't help but notice how
that part is my fault. If there's gonna be a negative for this, that part's my fault. I can't even give the Ash. Ash even was like, "Hey man, like we gotta start doing more action on some of these." Like, that was me. I didn't have the foresight on this page, and I think like another few pages. So, but I wanted this to be such, like, I mean, there's action in this book. It's action in the beginning. It's action at the end. I wanted this to be more of getting you a genuine feel for how the formatting is, what the processes are as far as thought, and what does it look like, before you actually have to start performing, so to speak. So I mean, that's on me. And like I said, we've had this talk, but like this chapter only does that. The other ones won't be doing that.
how striking the close-ups are most of the time. And even when there is a display of something else other than the characters, such as this panel, it's too close. It's way too close, right? When we go to this page here, and this will be the last that I can show basically. Notice that this almost shows her full figure. Now, I ain't saying that because they're female, you gotta show all that hot sauce, you gotta show the booty and all that. I'm not saying you should do that, but it definitely would help. Not the booty, but visually and camera angles, you need some long shots. You see, in this, what I would have done in this panel here, I definitely would have made a long shot, made it smaller, and I would have drawn her looking back. So she would like be turning her head, and this panel here would have, in fact, I wouldn't even put a panel over here. I would just draw Luna taking the space entirely. You see, it's important that when you give introductions to new characters, you show the level of importance that they can play. I want to give an example, but let me give an example first with the interpersonal.
Oh, there was another part that I wanted to like go over. I can't find it. Let me look at that part.
Is a page where Luna asks the main character, "What do you want?" And she says, "Well, my dream has always been to wrestle you." See, I would have preferred, upon that statement being made, that the author would have drawn that moment where she finally gets to fight her idol. Show us, don't tell us, basically.
That part right there is something that I was learning a lot of this past year, and so I've definitely more and more I'm starting to like really understand what that is. I like that, and you'd be surprised on my last few like drafts to even Jazz Chapter 0, which actually had a lot of show, but you would be surprised on how much of this I have been working on in the aspect. But yeah, I do agree. Now, should we have went in that direction with like how he did with, or how he said with the paneling? Yeah, that actually sounds pretty cool. And this is the reason why I even went to Muzi. It was to get ideas. And this is worth the money. I don't care what nobody else says. This is worth the money. I like this. Certain, this is great. This is great. But yeah, I definitely felt like after he said that just sounded cooler. It sounded cool, and that's something that I will try to incorporate later on when I write. I actually have Dream Match 2 up right now on my computer. I'm not gonna show it, but I don't have it. I have the script, and the script's up. And I'm kind of taking like small like changes here and there while he's talking, as I did this morning. So I didn't have to change much because I kind of already knew what I wanted to do going forward. But I at least I could see that I was going in like the right direction. So yeah, no, that's a fun idea.
And I'm gonna give an example of that as well.
There's another thing he did. I can't find it.
Now there's the fifth problem. My fifth problem is the way the author lined up or set up the panels.
That's not it. It was I gotta find it. So he's talking about, and I'm not even gonna let this one play out. And we're gonna go to his like last few points. But he's talking about the page gutters in my PDF. These files have not been formatted yet. I mean, they're all finished, but we haven't formatted them for printing yet. And so I think the way that I gave them, one of these pages was supposed to start on the right. So there's supposed to be in this book, there's supposed to be pages. It's like like the credits page, the foreword, other type of shit. And then when you finally open the go to the first page, I think the first actual page of this manga starts on the right. And when you look at some of the stuff, you realize that the right facing page, when you flip it, will be on the other, like all the white space will be on the other side. We're still trying to make sure that it'll fit congruently. So I just gave you flat out like the first drafts, before we did the whole format. So this part is moot. I just wanted you to just go over the the whole chapter, sure, but that part is something that's already in production to be changed on. So we're gonna go past that part, and go to another part that I remember him talking about.
To the left, it's pushed to. Same thing here again.
Where's it at?
Right. So that's my fifth problem with this manga. So ultimately, though, I would say it's a neat product. As I said, it's definitely something you can keep reading. It's not a disposable piece of media.
Yeah.
I think the author created this so it can have that replay value, that reread value, but just gotta give us more to chew on, using the mana dishes as an example. You gotta give us some meat, bro, because
technically speaking, if I'm not giving meat, would not just be like this one? Is this not? Because this is meatless right here. Like aren't I just giving this? Like these two have meat. Why am I not giving this one? I want it's got radishes on it. It's got was that orange sauce? Foliage. Like I could just be this. If because this is one thing, but this is what you're trying to what I'm saying. But yeah.
What you got right here is dish number one without the meat. Dish number one without the meat. We need the meat. You got to diversify the camera angles.
Correct.
Usually when a character is shouting, right, I tend to, or they have a lot to say, I tend to use a long shot, right? And I studied the camera angles mostly from Naruto's manga. I always looked at, why did Kishimoto set up this panel this way? I look at the speech bubble in there and the size of the dialogue, and I'm like, oh. I look at the camera angle and whether the dialogue is short or not, and I'm like, oh, because the character's saying something important. That's why this angle is the way it is. In this situation, we don't really get that. Too many close-ups, too many medium shots. We need some long shots. We need characters overlapping way more. See, Luna here is overlapping. See her hair, it's overlapping, but it just doesn't work.
He missed the other two, and then I think he missed well, it's not that he missed, but there are I think there are more in this chapter.
It actually just feels claustrophobic. It doesn't work in this.
Oh, there was another. I had this
chapter 2. I will say that after the fight was won, the self-insert again of this character of yourself, Chris, it was weird because he says something as if it's a joke that we're supposed to catch.
So I have a catchphrase in this series that you're going to hear a lot. And the catchphrase is, that's my jam. That's what he's talking about. It's a joke that we don't know. It's a joke that you don't know until you constantly keep saying it. But yeah, no, it's not a self-insert. I mean, as I said earlier, I feel like more people should draw themselves and put yourself in your. I mean, if you really like what you do, if you really have a passion for it, why not slap your face into it? It's not a foreign concept. Like people should definitely be doing it. If you don't do it for any reason, that's cool too. Like, Seiji puts like a little like robot. It's Toriyama put himself with like a gas mask on. Like it's not foreign. I just felt like that's just what y'all do. It's what to do. So I don't know. The self-insert complaint is pretty weird to me. That's weird to me. But I don't know.
Now, definitely a normal person that doesn't know that, oh, this is Chris the author, would be like, huh? Who is this? And why is that supposed to mean anything? Is there a joke I'm missing here? You see. So people should not add characters for the sake of it. You gotta add them characters because they actually have some value and importance. Now, in this page, what I would have done is I would have made Luna the main character of Faith, take up this entire space right here. Like, make her walk of shame and disappointment more impactful. See, more impactful, because it doesn't feel impactful.
Yeah, it depends. I could take it or leave it with this one. I do agree that the longer panels would have been a lot better for impact. I also feel like what we have here is just fine as is, because you could tell here she's it's composure, but then you can feel here with the dialogue that it's there's your impact right here, there's your impact right here, and it's just what I'm saying. That's why I said take it or leave it. Both can be right. There's a lot of things in this review that I feel like can be taken, should be taken, and then there are things that are like, that's subjective. But this has been very helpful and impactful to me, so to speak. So I really think that more and more people should be asking Muzi for like certain things, just because there are things that like you might miss on a writer's section, writer side, and then there's some things that you might miss on the artist side. And I don't mean artist side where like Ash needs to go and XYZ. It's where like direction of how I write could format a much better page format and page layout. So yeah, no, that's 100%. Like, yeah, this is great. This is fine. I came in here with it. I'll say it again. I do appreciate Koffee Comics for even doing this. 100%. This has been great. So let's go ahead and try to finish it out. I think he has one more point, and then we're done.
The emotional frustration on her face isn't devastating enough. So you can easily add it in there. Everything feels boxed in. The establishing shots it's rather claustrophobic and so on. Under the Koffee comic standard, I'm gonna give it a 6.
Hey, a 6 is good. I like a 6 because like Koffee he has such a high standard for the work that he's done over like 10 years. So to get a 6 is pretty good. I like that. I like that a lot.
I'm gonna give it a 6. Under the general standard for Western indie manga that you find on the internet, I would say 7.5.
7.5 is fair. A 1.5 increase from Koffee standard, then going up to 7.5 is fair. But because I'm biased for general Western manga, for a lot of what I've seen in Western manga, and of a lot of the like tenacity. Hell, you've even like reviewed a lot and talked about Western manga that just doesn't like live up to like anything. 7.5 it's good, but you can even that out to an 8. 8, definitely an 8. Like, I don't know, like point fives and ratings is probably one of the like weirdest things because it's such a like fence sitting thing where you can't commit. Like, either give me the 7 or the 6. Not like it matters, but like just, or not even, not 6. Give me the 7 or the 8. A 7.5 is okay though. I'll take that. I do feel like we are up there. But that's another discussion. That's another subjective, discussion for later. So I don't know.
But all these things are really easy to fix, so it's not a big deal. And that's it. If you would like a paid review,
All right, so let's go ahead and stop sharing that one, and just kind of give my final thoughts for the review. I did not expect this to be that long of a video, but here we are. I know how to cut a 30-minute video and make it a whole hour. That's my job. That's my skill set, is to add another 30 minutes to this video somehow. But anyway, yeah, this was a great review. This is probably, if anything, I don't care how you take it, like positive or negative, it's been very constructive review, very fair. There are key things in here that I wanted to address. I was gonna do it on his comments, and then I was like, nah. Then I was gonna do a live, and I was like, nah. And I decided to kind of like step in front and take any backlash, take almost all backlash that I could, because a lot of the points made could be argued that it's a reviewer's issue, so to speak. And then a lot of it could be like, oh, you know what, you had a point there. You're right. So that's just how I am, just being fair. But shout out to Koffee. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ogo, Seji, all them. Really, really good guys. Really, really, really big analyst of the art form. Very good people. And once again, I came to Muzi and he gave me what I asked for. So it's nothing more I could do in terms of it. I'm greatly appreciative, and we will be taking some of these things to heart. So I want to remind you guys that Dream Match Revolution, if this review did you anything, and I'll be posting this up everywhere probably, but if this review did you any type of service and you would like to get your copy, then go ahead, check us out. We're on Kickstarter.com, and I'll post the link in the description, but we are at 76 backers, 1,957. So we are past our goal by $757. But if you would like your own copy of this, you could definitely get your own copy. This is one of my favorite panels right here, actually, where she finally realizes it's time for you to win. She is copying the words from Luna that she spoke with earlier. And of course, Koffee, I wanted him to kind of go over the Kickstarter, but I guess I will do a quick little run through. But Dream Match Revolution has real people tied to the story. Here are some real wrestlers who were in their own indie circuits around the U.S. Here's the inspirations that Dream Match takes, from Naruto to Kill La Kill to Senran Kagura, WWE, and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Here's some of the pages that you've already seen from Koffee's review. Here's some of the covers. Here is Blueprint, who was in the stands that Koffee didn't know who that was. This is Blueprint. You will see a lot more of her going forward. This is Boycott. She is in this chapter. She's in this chapter, and I can't wait for you guys to go see what she does. And then here's Luna. And you can get these covers over here. They're all $20 plus shipping. Depending on where you live, you might have to pay more. If you're in the US, it's about $5. So, you know what I'm saying? That's good. You can get get the Faith Stone sticker design and the Dream Match Revolution keychain logo if you get the collector's bundle, which is right here. You know what I'm saying? And if you would like to even get more manga from me on this campaign, there is Jazz. Jazz, which by the way has brief nudity in the book. So, if that's not your thing, or you have children or whatever excuse you got, don't get this one. Do not, don't get Jazz. But Jazz 1, which is right here. Here's some of the like establishing whatnots that Koffee was like talking about. They're here. They are right here. And then there's Jazz 2. Also they're on this campaign. So if you pledge the Crystal Ink bundle, this is, if you want them physical, this is the way to do it, because they're each $15. So do the math on that one. But here's Jazz 2. And then of course everybody who was involved on the campaign. So no, that's it. Like I said, I didn't plan on making this video an hour. I came here saying I only do about a little bit of it, and then I went over. So that just means that I have a lot to talk about, and I'm very passionate. But you guys go ahead and enjoy the rest of your day. This is Crystal Incorporated going away.